you? I'm writing to you from a version of yourself you may barely remember. The you who was just beginning to feel lost, long before the world grew loud and life grew heavy. I remember the moment the confusion first settled in your chest. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a crisis. It was a quiet shift, like a soft click inside you, a silent question you didn't know how to answer. Back then, you kept telling yourself you were fine. You were doing what everyone expected. You were smiling at the right times, moving through the right motions, keeping the right pieces of your life together. But inside, something felt off. I felt it too. A small tremor beneath the surface, a subtle ache behind every choice, a sense that the life you were living didn't match the person you hoped to become. I remember how you tried to explain it to yourself. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I'm stressed. Maybe it will pass. But it didn't pass. And you didn't have the words to say it out loud. All you knew was that something deep within you had started drifting, slowly, quietly, invisibly. That drifting made you feel guilty. You wondered if you were ungrateful. You wondered if you were falling behind. You wondered if everyone else felt confident while you were still searching. I remember those nights when you stared at the ceiling thinking, why can't I just figure it out? That question stayed with you longer than you admitted. I want you to know, nothing was wrong with you. Feeling lost wasn't a sign of failure. It was the very first moment something inside you woke up. You didn't know it then, but that quiet discomfort was your earliest whisper of growth, a signal that your heart wanted more than the life you were settling for. I knew even then that you were trying. I knew you were overwhelmed. I knew you didn't want to disappoint anyone, and I wish I could have placed a gentle hand on your shoulder and said, it's okay not to know. It's okay to change. You deserved that comfort. You still do. I'm writing to remind you of something the world made you forget. You felt lost because you were outgrowing an old version of yourself. You weren't broken, you were transforming. You weren't behind, you were evolving. You weren't confused, you were awakening to truths your younger self never had the space to explore. Feeling lost happens when the life around you moves faster than the life inside you. When your responsibilities grow but your heart doesn't feel ready. When expectations pile up but your identity hasn't caught up. That's why you felt so overwhelmed. You were trying to be someone you hadn't fully become yet. I remember the pressure you carried back then. The need to have a plan, the fear of disappointing others, the constant comparing, the endless questioning, the self-criticism that grew louder each day. You didn't know it, but you were asking yourself impossible questions at an age when you were still learning who you were. You blamed yourself for not knowing the answers, but the truth, you hadn't lived enough yet to understand them. Your younger self wasn't weak. You were tender. You were hopeful. You were trying to fit into spaces that weren't meant for you, trying to fulfill roles that didn't reflect your heart, trying to silence the quiet voice inside you that whispered, there must be more than this. And there was, there still is, everything you've been through since then. The confusion, the searching, the questioning has been shaping you into someone more honest, more grounded, more aware of your own needs. You are not the person you used to be, and that's something to honor, not fear. I want you to see that the lostness you felt wasn't emptiness, it was possibility. It was space being carved inside you for new layers, new dreams, new truths. Every moment you doubted yourself was actually a moment you were standing on the edge of growth. You just didn't recognize it yet. And even now, if parts of you still feel lost, that's okay. It means you are still moving, still changing, still alive in all the ways that matter. Now I'm reaching forward from your past to your present, with a reminder I wish you had heard sooner. You are not lost anymore. You are searching, learning, shedding, choosing, and every choice you've made has pulled you closer to who you're meant to be. You have survived every moment that felt too heavy. You have carried yourself through nights that once felt unbearable. You have built strength in places where there used to be confusion, and clarity in places where there used to be noise. You've grown in ways your younger self could barely imagine. But here is the part I want you to hold tightly. You do not need to have everything figured out to be on the right path. You are allowed to move slowly. You are allowed to change direction. You are allowed to grow at a pace that feels human. Your past self is proud of you. Proud of the courage it took to keep going. Proud of the softness you refuse to lose. Proud of the way you hold hope even when you're tired. Proud of every tear, every laugh, every moment you thought you weren't enough but showed up anyway. You are enough. You've always been enough. You were enough even on the days you felt most lost, and you are becoming someone your past self dreamed of becoming: braver, wiser, more compassionate, more aligned with your heart. So take a breath, a slow, grounding breath. Let it fill you with warmth. Let it remind you that you are not running out of time. You are learning your way forward, step by step. You are no longer that confused version of yourself. You have turned uncertainty into growth, fear into awareness, loneliness into resilience. Your journey isn't about perfection. It's about becoming whole. There are beautiful days ahead. There are connections waiting, peace waiting, purpose waiting. Your life is still unfolding, and every moment from here forward can be a new beginning. And if ever you feel lost again, remember, I'm still here. Your past self rooting for you. Whispering, you're doing better than you think. Sincerely you.